You may be asking, Sammy, why are you in front of the Bakersfield sign? And the purpose of this video is to raise awareness about the homeless crisis here in the state of California, but also here in Kern County. From 2022 to 2023, we saw an almost 25% increase in our homeless population. And to top it off, it's currently 107 degrees outside. Can you imagine living outside in triple digit heat, not having shelter or a home with air conditioning? So even if it's a little bit, I'm going to do my part and give back by giving some ice cold waters and popsicles. But even more importantly, so that you guys can hear the stories of our local homeless population and as to how they got to where they're at right now, let's go see what they have to say.
By my family, like, yeah.
Yes, I do. Of course I do.
I do feel sad and lonely sometimes.
Abandoned by a lot of people, but who you don't even expect it from. I would say family, friends, government.
Because, like, you know, my sexuality and coming from a family that's like kind of like all around like pretty like strong rooted in Christianity, like that doesn't like, you know, that doesn't vibe with them. And so they don't know how to deal with that or how to minister to that as like pastors and like, you know, even just family members that are like really Christian, devout Christian. And so their way of dealing with it is to not deal with it. And so that's kind of put some space between us.
Because like until the other day, I hadn't been able to see my kids in 2 years, and like I haven't seen my mom in a long time. Like, and my mom's really sick. She's had 2 strokes, and she lives in Texas with my sister, where he's from. And it's crazy. Like I met him when he came out here. The first day he came here homeless, I met him out here. And like he's from Texas. My mom lives in Texas with my sister.
Okay.
And so like it was kind of like I guess kind of fate. You know what I mean? Like, but no, like and like sometimes I'm joyful and stuff. Like especially when I look at my dog and like I go play with my dog and stuff like at the park and stuff. Like I'm happy then. But like the rest of the time, pretty much like it's pretty sad and depressing out here. Like.
Got divorced, and other things, and because they took my son away at the time too, and I've been struggling, but that was my cause of being homeless. Lost my job, lost my property.
Death in the family and having to come like all the way out, you know, to California from Texas. And then once I got here, like things happened like kind of crazy back home. Like it's just like it's, you know, my ex-wife, you know, had an abortion and didn't tell me for about like 4 months until she was almost due. And once everything kind of came out, you know, her parents put her into an ultimatum, and so she went and had the abortion and just didn't tell me, otherwise they weren't going to pay for college. And so she didn't want to, you know, so it was the whole thing. And then just things got really crazy. And so it's just, there was no going back home. Like, I mean, without me, like, really doing something stupid. And so it was just, and plus it had been a negative experience anyway. So I was just like, maybe it's just time to like turn like a new leaf, like start a new chapter, like a new state, new city, like, you know, I've never been to. So maybe it's just a chance to get away from all of that was happening back home. And so it's just still trying to process through a lot of that has led to like some poor decisions. Like I could probably be making better, like, but it's hard to like process the way I need to process, like in the healthiest manner for me, like, or at least not so destructive. And then, you know, kind of like get stabilized, you know, with the job, like my documents and stuff to get those. And so it's kind of just like I'm in like a middle spot. Like
I was in a 14-year relationship with my kids' mom, and we got involved with a CPS case. And it wasn't even like I was actually involved in the CPS case. I had moved out like 2 years prior, and I was living with my mom again. And her and my kids were living in a house together in a 2-bedroom house. And my baby mama has the mental disorder of hoarding. And so she started hoarding again, and it filled up the house with trash. So it made a rat infestation in her house, and it got into her neighbor's house, and her neighbors called the cops, and the cops brought CPS and everything. They told her she had 2 weeks to clean up the house. So naturally, who does she run to? She runs to me. Like after we hadn't been together in 2 years, she runs to me and she's like, "They're gonna take our kids." I was like, "Well, you weren't thinking about them taking our kids 2 years ago when you told me we were done. You didn't let me see them for 2 years." But then, so I, of course, good dad I am, I go over there and I clean up the entire house. The only thing that made them take my children was because of the rat infestation. The exterminator couldn't get rid of them.
Mhm.
So they take our kids. Me and my kid's mom were staying in a motel together, and she just kept on me all the time about every little thing I did. And I told her, I was like, "You know what, we're done." Just so happened, her nephew, which I used to be friends with her sister in high school, her nephew and his stepdad took me in and let let me live in their place. I was donating plasma at the plasma center to pay them rent every month, and I paid them $350 in rent and gave them $300 in food stamps, and they still kicked me out on the streets after 3 days. And I've been out here ever since. Just don't judge a homeless person just like you shouldn't judge a book by its cover.
That you don't put people down, help them out, and if they're on drugs, if they're home for whatever reason it is, don't put them to a side.
Like, I know there's people out here that are homeless that commit crimes, but I'm one of the homeless people out here that actually prides himself on not being a criminal. Like I collect recyclables and like fly a sign to make money, and like I don't go breaking people's businesses or homes or their cars or anything like that. And I've always been that way. Like I don't think that thieving is honorable at all. I think it's very deceptive and it's very like shameful to go and steal somebody's stuff. Like so and those people earn that stuff. Why would you want to go steal something that they earn when you could go earn it yourself? Mm-hmm. Like I never seen the point in like thievery or like it's taken from stores or anything like that, like to survive out here. Like I would rather just like get it by putting a little more grind in and like getting recyclables and turning them in and getting money for it. Like I feel happier at the end of the day and know that I'm not one of these people out here that are furthering the I don't know how would you say it, furthering the stereotype of like how all homeless are criminals and stuff. I'm one of those people that tries to like better the stereotype, like you mean like to make it where it seems like homeless people we're just average people. We are just people. We just all fell on bad times, and we're out here until we figure out what we're gonna do with our lives.
We have a lot to give. We have a lot to give and to help out, but you guys just sometimes doesn't let us give out the help that we want to, or let us be who we are and give out all the energy we have to the government to work, to provide, or to help with others.
And there you have it. Those are just some of the stories of the countless homeless people that we have in the state of California and in our nation. And some of them share stories very similar to those that you saw today. If you like this video, please make sure to hit the thumbs up button and subscribe, as that's the best way to help keep the channel flowing. Also, make sure to go follow me on Instagram and DM me on there. Let me know what you thought about the video, and if you have ideas for future videos, I check my Instagram DMs on a daily basis, so go follow me and DM me on there. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. Again, make sure to subscribe and hit the thumbs up button. Thank you, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
I got nothing to lose. It's just me against the world.